Alrighty, thank you so much for joining us for the 2021 United States Disc Golf Championship Round 3, joined once again by Nate Sexton. And Nate, it was a rough one out there today.
The rain that we've been promised has been delivered in a big way.
Yes. Starting out the round, though, at least it was raining up until the round, so maybe no surprises mid-round. Were you prepared out there for the rain?
Yes, as much as one can be, but it's still difficult. I mean, it was gusty wind, heavy rain, created a lot more backups.
Yes.
There's only so much room under those tents. So as you get a big backup, you're just kind of sitting there under your umbrella. It's dumping down. It was difficult. Some kind of flooded areas on the fairways, even some of the tee pads showing a little more slickness thanks to it. So difficult conditions for everybody today.
We'll see how our lead card does take on those conditions. Chris Dickerson getting us started here. The leader after 2 rounds, after a scorching hot 11 under during round 2. See how he gets started.
Phenomenal round 2 showing. And that's a little bit right. Good commitment on the power. That was going to have plenty. Hits that tree. He'll be outside circle 2, I would guess.
Raincoat Ricky back in action after another great round 2. We see a lot of new players on our lead card. Round 2 didn't see our lead card have too much great play, but we'll see if Terry can maintain the integrity here. Going back to the zone, I assume.
Yeah, Rick got that flex around pretty nicely. Man, that's just so good.
He's so dialed on that shot right now. Little Annie out of the hand, and that's an overstable disc.
I'm finding this hole very difficult. I mean, it looks straightforward, but again, mentioning that ceiling combined with that log, it is so tough, and these guys making quick work of it. Great shots from those two.
Yeah, Martin Hendel, Canadian, kind of goes back and forth, being the highest rated Canadian. Him and Casey Handemeyer, Thomas Gilbert, usually fighting for that crown. Yeah. Again, in the pouring rain, it's so hard to give it a real firm, committed run.
Good start from Rick.
You know he's motivated. Ricky from Fort Mill, South Carolina, so Jess near here, but hasn't actually ever taken this one down. You know he's gunning for the win.
Yeah, that's I mean, with every passing year, a more surprising statistic because he's so good and he's won so many things. And this would be, I would guess this would be maybe his first choice for a tournament if he could guarantee a win, get that on his resume, get that ring. Definitely Ricky looking for it, and Martin with the easy birdie.
Martin, one of the more unique putts we have on tour, kind of brings it into the hip and shoots it out. Very much a spin putter.
He's known for kind of placement, control. He's got adequate power. I'm not saying he's a short thrower, but he's kind of famous for his touch in the woods and perfect little flip up and landing soft. Really good angle control.
Yeah, I just think straight rock shots when I think Marty. So. See how he can handle it. 3 birdies on the first hole. Dickerson already dropping a stroke back to the field. Look to keep the pressure on hole 2, though.
Hole 2 is this low ceiling par 4. Moves slightly right to the green. You'd just like to throw whatever shot you're confident to hit this gap with the appropriate height. Find your way out into that sunny area, though there will be no sun on today's round. But if you're up into this area, you have your choice. Backhand mid-range or putter down the right side, forehand driver over the parking lot playing for the skip. No players really worry about those sticks for the putting. They make it a little more difficult, but you're not going to change your strategy. You just put it up there and do your best from the green.
Sure, yeah, much more of like a reactionary situation than a...
Yes.
Yeah. Gosh, you can just see the rain coming down. Everybody's huddled under those tents. Ricky, quick to throw here.
It's got a lot of height.
This is that... Oof. I believe that's the Wraith Stamp Destroyer that has been confusing me all year long.
That is rude from Rick.
It is.
For the commentators. Ooh, those are both going to be kind of a decision time position. That's
Sure.
Probably high 300s to the pin.
I kind of like this under the towel until the very last second approach from Marty here. Kind of weird to be throwing the towel in your hand, though.
Yeah, if you're used to it, I guess no problem. I tend to do like a sort of a bend at the waist move where I'm keeping the disc down kind of between my knees until I'm ready, and I sort of like let my raincoat absorb the rain on the back, like Chris's.
There you go.
That's a good move right there.
It's really not too cold, too. You see these guys' shorts, T-shirts. It's a little muggy out there, which really, I mean, it was It's comfortable outside of the pouring rain.
Yeah, South Carolina style. You don't. It doesn't. You can usually get away with shorts, even if you want to.
Yeah.
Even on a rainy day this time of year. Ooh, a little slip. His foot gave out. Hopefully that stays in bounds. It looks like it did. There is OB over there on that fence line, but he'll be fine with that. Easy par.
Dickerson looking to, I don't know, it's hard to say if he's really going to get aggressive on this one. It's pretty far back.
I think he is going to.
Oh, he's going.
He's flipped it, though, which is not great. He's going to need some luck.
Doesn't get it. He's going to have an easy pitch up, kind of in that Terry land.
Looks like Rick is going to go over the parking lot.
With a
Only
pig.
needs a pig? That is just crazy. This is way over 300 feet. Oh, just playing safe.
That makes more sense.
Weird, kind of an interesting choice there to push it so close to the trees, but it's going to work just fine. That I was thinking when I can't imagine. I was about to have my mind blown if you try to go over the parking lot with a slow disc. This needs to sit quick. And that's not what you want to do here. You can go be on this hole and save par, but probably not from there. Second shot. Oh no!
Get back. Go.
That might be savable. He might be C1. But that's the kind of stuff you see in these conditions. It's just that you think you got it dry, and the last, when you try to tighten down your grip, you catch a droplet, and you slip out. And I think that's probably to blame for both of those errant shots that we just saw, either a slip of the foot or a slip on the grip.
Yeah, I don't think this course usually drains all that well, too. The water really does stick to the ground. You have flooded areas. You know, it's not running off the hills like Deglo or something.
Yeah, and I just think in the south, when it decides to rain, it really rains, and it can pool up on you because it's not just like a drizzle. It's like it dumps. When it starts to open up, it really puts down a lot of rain in a short amount of time.
Marty here, really important bogey save.
Spinner.
Yep, committed putts. It's so easy, you know. Bogey save, wet. It's easy to maybe not be as confident as that putt was, but he stung it in there, and hopefully we'll see more of that from him today.
Well, not a great hole for this card. A little bit of damage done.
A little bit. And what's your take? Is last year more or less rainy than this year? Because last year it was in the middle of the round.
I feel like last year it might have rained harder at its peak, but it might have lasted a little less time.
Kind of what I was thinking as well.
That's kind of my feel, is that it was a little more torrential there for a bit. But it did get pretty bad today, too. Not yet, but moving into the round, it started to come down even more. So these guys have that to look forward to.
Yeah, I fortunately had a perch inside the edit room, so I stayed dry. You guys did not look like you were having fun, but what is fun is hole 3. I love this hole, 389 feet. We've seen some great drives. We've also seen some suspect drives. Greg Barsby finding that little sunken pit of doom over there in round 2.
This is super safe from Ricky, and I will say I was not dry, but I was having fun.
Oh, okay.
I think most guys are, it's all about how if you're staying in bounds.
Yeah,
but
true.
I think it's fun to be out here battling, even if it does get a little bit crazy.
Chris, turns this over a little bit. He's gonna have probably a more tricky than he wants upshot. Now, one thing that was probably fun is you had all the gallery in a incredible super card.
Yeah, for the third card, it was me and Eagle and Simon and Macbeth. So that was a fun card. We've played that card a couple times, I feel, in Europe and maybe in the U.S., and it's always a good time. I love those guys and phenomenal talents, obviously.
Yeah.
Great shot there from Marty.
Just gonna say it. Beautiful way to come back from the bogey. Terry looking to keep his disc dry.
I mean, Terry's already soaked, I feel like.
Just look at them. You get to see the rain. When you zoom in with the camera, it gets very apparent.
This looks great.
Yeah, Terry snuck through pretty fortunately with the roll during the last round, but that is right where you need to be, inside the circle. This is in Rick. I've seen him make crazier putts range, but he's just playing it passive.
Yep, not interested in that one.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, it's a funny thing. You miss right so bad on this hole that you aren't in the hazard.
Yes.
Because if this shot is slightly better, it actually could end up worse because that hazard does come in those woods a little bit later. So in a way, he might be kind of going, oh, all right, I shanked it. I know I shanked it, but at least I'm safe.
Very true. Good putt.
The putt
Sticks
has
it
been
in there.
solid.
Mhm.
Terry has been really good this week.
Marty, Mr. Towel Man. Good birdie as well. Get back on the horse. So the two guys that drew a little blood on the last hole, getting it back with the birdie, taking the box.
I feel like I would love to see the data on that. I just feel like that is such a likely outcome in my experience. I mean, it's like everybody's professionals and has played a lot of golf, and when you make that mistake, just that laser focus that can sometimes come in. I feel like so often when you're the only guy in the group to bogey, then the very next hole you get the only birdie.
I love it. It's like the mental toughness stat almost.
Yeah.
So the two birdies, like I mentioned, for Marty and Terry, is going to close the gap to 3 to Chris. But hole 4, another opportunity, especially for our sidearm-oriented players. Marty, I'm really curious to see how he plays this, really leaning on the backhand mostly.
Yeah, I think the tee shot is kind of whatever you want to do, but the second shot, huge advantage to the forehand. You see how much this tree sticks out guarding the pin. You really have to throw overstable and flare skip to find your way down here. I do not see a way to find circle one repeatably with a backhand.
Well, and especially with this amount of rain and water on the ground, a flare skip, any sort of ground action is just so unpredictable.
This looks pretty good, but I just don't see how it's possible without that forehand can do it from there, and he probably has that forehand.
Yes.
So if he can get a good skip there, I think he's in an all right spot.
Terry, a little bit.
Just needs to miss trees.
It does, but he's even more pinched than Marty.
Yeah.
Tough angle.
Yeah, that is difficult. Needs a skip. Gotta skip.
Gets it.
That's gonna be good.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
It's shorter than I thought.
it had some life on it.
Wow, I thought he was gonna get up another 30 feet.
Gosh, every single thing, everything's bagged. Everybody's just having a rough go out there. You feel for all the media professionals and players alike.
But man, the fans still were out there.
Yeah,
In
true
mass. That was cool to see.
Yeah, umbrellas everywhere. It was fun to see up from the booth like a fleet of umbrellas walking across Five's fairway.
Look at Chris. This is so good.
Get around it.
Man, guys are learning this shot. That is an amazing shot from back there. Go and cut in the rain. He's going to have an opportunity.
Chris, obviously our champion from last year, so he does know what it takes. He's got that mental toughness. He's been here before. Ricky, great sidearm. Similar position as Chris, but just outside the tree.
Yeah, that's well done from the short position that Ricky was in.
Ooh, he does. You called it.
And that's just a bit long, but it's going to be edge of circle. Pretty open look.
Yeah, looks like he does have a little something to contend with. Marty with the straight putt, though, is probably a little bit easier to hit gaps out of trees and stuff rather than maybe having to loft one up.
Yeah, and this purple disc must be Terry.
Yeah, just lays it up. The green does slope significantly, so getting aggressive can be scary. Rick just a little low.
Cinematic shot here.
It's from the woods. Chris can't quite knock it down. Terry now, after his pretty solid upshot. Online, he says chicken. All his putts have been right on it. Even the misses have been hitting that disc catcher logo on the basket or right in the middle of the cage. That one's actually just a disc chur. The A seems to be rubbed off. So yeah, set of pars there. We thought we would have found at least one of the birdies, having everyone be just outside circle for the putt, but no harm in a par there. Leading us to hole 5, 1,025 feet. In the rain though, probably plays, half a stroke more hard, normal?
Yeah, that's fair. I think you definitely have to think a little bit about how far you're going to push the power and introduce the risk of a little slip with your hand or your foot. So I think it's prudent if you're having any kind of grip issues to think about backing off just slightly here to stay in bounds. But again, it's a delicate balance because you don't want to be faced with that 420-foot cross. You'd like to get in there to where you're guaranteed no stress. You can go over, even if it doesn't mean birdie. At least you're over and the par is guaranteed.
Yes,
at that point.
Great point. Marty going with the turnover backhand, no surprise there, and this is flexing out nicely.
And the rain is intensifying.
Yes, this is about the part in the round where it really got hairy, and how convenient, the most open part in the front nine.
Yeah. Terry got a little bit of Anheuser on that, but not as much as the last round, and that's crushed.
Yeah, perfect shot, great position. Likely playing a backhand out with right side for his second shot. Rick just looking to go big. Pretty safe sidearm, though, never really leaving that hyzer angle.
Yeah, that's just fine. The only thing that can happen there is you get right up against one of those tiny trees, which he clearly isn't doing. But that's the only thing you're introducing by going up on that right side a little bit. You could end up with a really unlucky lie.
Yes. Chris going back to this trusty red mid-range he loves so much. Really has that left to right glide in it.
Chris has been fantastic, staying in bounds. He's, I believe, leading the field in that category, and that's a great recipe out here. He's really in control, playing his plan and making sure that he's getting to his spots.
Yeah, we saw him go bogey-free on the first round of our coverage, and didn't make lead card, but the 11 down tells me he's just continuing that pace. Well thrown, but he is going to be righter than he wants.
Yeah, by a lot.
Yeah.
It was a good kick.
Yeah.
But, he's going to cross from there, but it will be stressful.
Yes, more in the 400-foot variety.
Yeah.
First time I filmed Marty was 2017 Worlds at a feature card in Georgia. Him and John Perry were on a card with Rick, and I filmed him. It was good times. We've kind of been friends ever since.
Nice.
Good shot, right in the middle. Rick with Perma Caddy Ari holding the umbrella.
It's a big advantage to have two umbrellas.
Yeah, and some woos.
Yeah, for sure. But you got to have the caddy protecting the discs, and then one for obviously your hands and other parts of your body.
Big spike hyzer. That thing needs to just stop.
That's the good thing about the spike. Great shot.
Little flat,
There
but
it goes.
it's going.
I feel like he probably wanted a little more distance, but it's not terrible.
Chris now, this is the pressure cooker. Set himself up righter than he wanted, but he's going to have to boom it.
Get the advantage of being kind of up the hill here. This is nice and committed.
Well
It
thrown.
might honestly even be parked. C1, I think.
Yeah.
What a shot.
Great shot by Chris. Anywhere inside the circle is so ideal, but it's totally no harm, no foul to bail off to the right.
Agreed.
As we see Terry do. Wow. Very right. Marty, let's see if he's going fairway. I don't know. Do you think there's a world where he can go mid-range here?
I imagine he could, but I don't know that I would recommend it.
Yeah.
It looks like it might be one, though.
Well thrown.
Yeah.
Just straight shot.
Yeah, maybe he was a little closer than I thought. That's a nice shot.
Wow, Rick, premier position. He's just probably going to chuck a little hyzer up there.
It might be pig. Yeah, I think so.
You ever mess with the pigs?
The grip is not for me.
Sure.
The shape
Thumb
is,
track.
but they're a cool disc.
Yeah.
But I've tried, but I have not found they have not found a spot in my bag.
Sure. More of like a Cayman.
Mhm.
You throwing the Cayman these days?
Yeah, I have the rat right now.
Rat, okay.
Ooh.
Oof, man. Good putt, Chris.
It's a really good feeling birdie on the fifth.
Yeah. Quality birdie by Marty. Oof, and he's loving it. You can see him breathe the sigh of relief. He always plays good at the USDGC. I feel like he's not necessarily in the mix to win, but he's like top 20, top 15 consistently.
Yeah, I think his style really suits this type of golf. It's like it's not really that much of a distance thrower's course. If you've got 450 controllable, which I think he does, you can get a lot done here just by making putts and staying in bounds. We say that all the time about Winthrop, so it doesn't surprise me.
Terry taking the lone par and really almost dropped in the putt, so a very well-played hole from our card. It is going to move us to hole 6, the beach hole. We've seen a lot of good shots, but we've seen a couple OB strokes too, and that penalty marker is a rough one. We saw Valerie Manduhano putt out and it ramped off. We've seen Eagle McMahon on the live coverage ramp off OB, so the danger is there if you don't place this shot perfectly.
Every time we get storms like this, I'm just so angered by the sunny drone flying.
Oh, isn't it just a slap in the face?
Yeah, just to see that beautiful weather.
Well, and good news for the final round, I'm looking out the window and it looks perfect outside.
Yeah, well, there's a slight threat of rain, but nothing like this from what I've been seeing.
Okay. A slight threat I think we can live with after this yesterday.
This looks good. Nice and flat. Does it have the legs?
I think it does.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
That's
Martin.
fantastic.
Great shot. Look at this. Everyone just huddled up. We need to get 10 by 20s, I think, for this tournament next year. Oop, hit the tree.
I think it will. It's pretty high. Ooh, yeah. That is fortunate.
Yeah, a little bit of a slippage, grippage issue, but tree saving him there.
This is in a little bit of danger of being OB right. Not anymore.
He's getting that
Not
Rick
anymore.
skip.
Nice. Good choice of disc. It had enough stability. I was worried at first. This I'm also a little worried about. It
I
needs
think
to
it might-
find its edge.
Short enough to be okay, though.
Yep. Not the worst thing in the world.
Terry going back to this black zone. Probably one of those Macbeth 4 claw ones that are like $1 million online right now.
Good shot.
Yeah, anywhere in the sand, totally fine. Expecting the putt to go in from there. Rick just chipping up. Chris really the only one with any decision to make. You know, Marty on the sand, the other guy's just chipping up. This one's a little testy.
It's a full go, though. I mean, he's just maybe 10 feet outside the circle. Nice
Big
putt.
putt.
Nice putt.
I love it. Chuck it up high right of the basket, let it fall back in. Really the safest way to go about putting on this basket.
In. Good save.
His shirt looked like it's always been wet. It's so wet that it started that way.
He's respecting the raking, I think, there. He's been very,
I love it. That was actually good.
very light-footed.
Little does he know they're the last group.
I think he probably knows that, I hope.
Yeah, we would hope at this point.
If he's unclear on the concept of what we're doing here. He's like, wow,
Hey, he's focused, man.
Yeah.
He's making his putts.
There's a lot more guys coming.
2 birdies out of Chris Dickerson and Martin Hendel. Long putt by Chris and the park job by Marty is going to lead us to hole 7. And in the rain, this gap, I have to imagine, looks about the third of the size.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's a lot harder, just the trust in your shot. But the game plan's the same. Throw it firm, throw it low, and just try to get your skip through there.
2 options, really. Are you throwing it a little short hyzer or a layup, straight to the mouth? Or are you really trying to shoot the gap? With the ace now off the table.
Though I did talk to Drew. It sounds like it's a split if somebody else can get in there.
Really?
Yeah, you could pull some money out of Drew's pocket with an
Okay.
ace.
Well, I know what Chandler's plan is today then.
Yeah. Oh no, that's gone.
Yeah. Never really had a chance. Wow, that was actually thrown a little hard, too. No, did make the adjustment after seeing Marty kind of pull it off to the right, and you'll take that if your options are that or Marty's. But
This is
Rick.
danger.
Oh, missed it as
Wow.
well.
See that wind starting to blow.
LWS taxes. Appreciate the bounty. Terry.
Oh, my word. Okay,
Ugh.
good. I thought that was peeling right as well. That's a tough lie there.
It is. It's almost tougher than the drop zone just because you're so much more pinched.
Certainly less makeable.
So should be noted, the rain wreaked havoc on not only the play but the media equipment as well. So we had some cameras go down halfway through the round. It was an issue. So it might be a few recording issues. You saw Marty's shot only get the back half of it filmed. Chris almost able to dunk it. He's catching a little bit of fire, even though he is also playing consistent.
Pretty good effort.
Yeah, all things considered.
He bounced off the bamboo a little farther than I had thought, so that's nice.
Marty now just with the cleanup, as well as the rest of the guys here. Gosh, it's crazy how much longer this little dance takes when there's umbrellas involved. You got to set it down. Everybody would just be walking up, tapping in.
Yeah, absolutely. It slows everything down to a grind. We encountered a few 3-group backups.
What?
I think hole 8, hole 10, we waited a significant amount of time. Hole 13, 3 groups.
I saw 13 was a rough one.
Yeah.
Like the whole top 10 was finished with 12 at one point.
Yep. Yeah, it was a much different pace of play than we had been accustomed to through the first 2 days.
Do you do anything different during a round like that? Like there's hole 13 can be a tough hole, hole 8 can be a tough hole, and just to have 30 to 40 minutes to think on it?
There's not much you can do. I mean, I just try to, stay relaxed, and I don't try to think too much about
Sure.
the upcoming shot.
Are you like a chit chatter, or are you staying in your own zone?
Yeah, I'm chatting around.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Just trying to keep things light and pass the time.
Yeah.
Watch other people's shots, obviously. And then, finally get your chance to throw. You just got to stay committed to the power after that big layoff. That's the trickiest thing for me.
Yeah, and this is a hole where commitment is key. Plenty of choices off the tee. Just got to pick the one that you feel most comfortable getting into that sweet spot just to the right of that little OB pond on the left of the fairway. The second shot, though, is the toughie. You got to shoot the tunnel, and it's got to bend right. So roller or sidearm is the option. So this is a point where one of our cameras did go down, so shout to Keenan Dalton. He's out there shooting some Innova content, and he was able to step in and shoot these tee shots and some of the up shots too. So again, shouts just for the whole team out there. It's been a real team effort this week.
Brutal lie for Dickerson. That's going to be tough. I would think he has to almost stand still.
Yeah. Marty looking to play, I would imagine, just this straight gap with a little bit of turn. Didn't quite get a lot of turn. We'll see if it can check up.
Uh-oh. Nice.
It does. Whoa, Rick.
I think this is okay. Better than okay.
Yeah,
I
well
think
off to the left. But
what
he's
I
in
mean
prime
by
time.
what I mean by okay is inbounds,
Yeah.
but it's actually phenomenal. Like going around that tree, you see how far up there he is. That's position A.
So, Chris, is he get aggressive here with a roller, or is he just going to chip it up to the edge? My guess is, he's going roller.
Wow, that is crazy.
Oh, Chris.
And you can see why it's crazy. I'm honestly a bit shocked to see him go
Me
for
too.
that from there.
Especially just considering how clean he's kept his sheet so far, it seems out of character a little bit. Terry, beautiful sidearm. Wow.
Whoa,
Finishes
perfect.
there.
Yeah, Chris has brought double bogey into play here.
Yeah. Ooh.
And this needs to make the Mando. Wow.
And it does.
And now it can
Look at
bounce
this.
to C1. Wow, that was fantastic. That's not where he's aiming, I can promise you.
No, there is that little chute up there. It's gotten me a couple times. It looks like it's just death up there, but it's manageable.
There's a tiny roller-sized gap between the mandatory pole and the fence that worries me when people go up there. Whoa! Rick thinking about a deuce almost, but he's going to be disappointed with that roll. He's going to be confused when he gets around the corner to not see that thing up a little closer.
Way off to the left. He's like, oh man, going back to the well. This time, very well executed.
Yeah, I'm honestly a bit surprised. That's a good shot, but I would think Chris's forehand is great.
Yeah.
His tee shot there, I'm surprised from that position. The first one, there was no forehand to be had, but there I'm a little bit surprised to see him go roller. And it is going to be a double bogey 6.
Marty just playing it safe. No reason to get crazy. Rick now looking for the birdie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and look at him stare it down. I mean, that thing was not coming in. It was coming in hard. He putts hard, but
yeah,
that don't seem right.
No, it is not right. And that's unlucky. And he has no idea that he got that roll away. And it's just those little things. If he's closer, there's no way he needs to putt that hard. It stays in for sure. Mm-hmm. It's just those little breaks that, as a player, you have no idea.
No.
And then you come back and see it, and you're like, man, how come that couldn't just sit down?
Are you going back and watching the B cam angle on a hole like that ever?
No, not
specifically.
Usually,
yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I'll catch it and be like, "Whoa, really? That's what happened."
Yeah.
It's maybe if something really confusing happens,
sure.
I might go and be motivated to go and take a look and see how on earth did
I get there?
Yeah.
So the double bogey, you mentioned it. Chris Dickerson now falling off what was a very clean and hot start, back down to even. Hole 9, another one that is danger everywhere. We saw a set of 4s during our round 2 lead card. See if these guys can improve a bit upon it. Really, just make the poles off the tee and try and hit this little postage stamp of a green.
Yeah, and I just don't think there's much incentive to lay up because 4 is kind of as bad as it's going to get. I almost feel like in the rain and the wind, if you play the layup, all you really do is introduce 5 as a possibility. So I expect to see all these guys stay aggressive here, but I also expect to see at least 1 out of bounds because it's just that tough in these conditions.
Terry going smooth and
so good.
Beautiful. Not too high, so he didn't introduce a lot of right to left and just played at the perfect distance. Man, Terry couldn't leave the towel for everyone else. That's messed up.
It's every man for himself out there.
Yeah, good point. 3rd round, man. You need strokes anyway.
There it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these guys are just going to go park on this thing. Those were great.
Oof, Ricky really going overstable on this one.
Yeah, is it going to slow down? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Great drive so far. Can Chris match it?
Really would like to after the double. You mentioned it, the guy's got that laser focus on hole 3 after 2. Let's see if Chris has it on 9 here.
I think this could get safe. Get your edge. Run.
Oh
no.
Man, it can be like that out at Winthrop. Everything is going smooth. You've got the lead. You're playing good. And then all of a sudden, you just got to shake off a couple of bad holes and get right back on it.
I know I mentioned it in one of our earlier rounds, but in a way that almost no other course I've ever played does. It's this physical dizziness feeling that sort of washes over you in a moment like that for Chris, because it's kind of like your grip on your score is so tenuous at all times. Great putt there.
Yeah.
Where you're just like so acutely aware as you're about to throw a shot, you're like, well, this could be the tournament.
Yep.
If I don't clear this right now, I'm going to the drop zone, and from there, who knows how many times. So there's just not a lot of courses that introduce that kind of fear factor. Mm-hmm. And after Chris goes double bogey and then bogey, I'm sure that he's swimming a little bit now and going, wait a minute, is this how I'm going to go out? No, I got to refocus. I got to keep fighting. This is not where it ends for me.
Yeah, and Chris just, a mentally tough player. He's been here before. You have to imagine that he's, developed his own routines and way to settle himself down. Last year, kind of going through the same thing down the stretch. Calvin chasing him down, and he had a rough start as well, but he was definitely able to turn it around on that back, especially after the rain kind of calmed down. Yeah,
I don't worry for him at all, his ability to turn it around, but I just acknowledge the fact that this is a very uncomfortable position when you start to feel that some strokes slip away.
Mm-hmm. No question. And they are slipping. That's a 2-stroke swing again. Back-to-back holes, and we are all knotted up at 16 on the lead card, but Even more important is the specter of Paul Macbeth on the third card. You had a first-hand seat for those first 9 holes.
Yeah, and he was low. I had to be at least 6 or so on the front 9. He was bringing it. So I think he may be 17 under already through the first 9 holes. So maybe the leader on course is Macbeth.
Yeah, well, we'll see if these guys can keep to match his pace on the back 9 coming up shortly.